welcome. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. I'm Smriti Chaudhary, and with me is Mathew. And we'll take you through the trade for the next 30 minutes. And if you have any queries, any stock-related queries, write to us on any of our social media channels or on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screen right now. You can also write to us on the YouTube live chat, and we'll take your questions from there. But before we do that, let's take a quick check of the markets. The Nifty 50 pretty much flat in trade with a positive bias right now. A bit of a range-bound day for the benchmarks today. You look at the broader markets, though, they are in red right now. Nifty mid caps down about 0.4%, while Nifty small cap down about 0.6% roughly. Let's look at some of the constituents of the Nifty 50. Not that there's too much action in the Nifty 50 today compared to the last couple of days, but let's see some of the movers on the Nifty 50. You have Divi's Lab that's up over 2%, 2.5% in trade. There's HDFC Life also up over 2% in trade. There's Hindalco, and Hindalco is not the only metal name that's moving today. There's Hero Moto that's up about 1%, 1.5% in trade. On the losers, you have Adani Ports that's down over 1%. There's Power Grid, Coal India, both down over 1% in trade. You look at the breadth of the market as well. On the Nifty 50, there are 31 advances and 19 declines, but it still continues to remain on the benchmark at least in the positive. But let's look at some of the stocks also that are moving, some specific counters. You have Inox Wind that is stuck on lower circuit, and this comes after a block trade. Reports suggest that promoters may have sold about 5% stake in the company. There's something like Timken that's moving, but it's up about 5.5%. This is also on the back of a block trade. But we're going to focus on a result, a stock that's moving based on its result, which is Sumitomo Chemicals, and it's
interesting numbers.
Definitely, it's up about 7.5%. And to break down those numbers, we're joined by our colleague Varsha, who's going to tell us what happened in the fourth quarter. Varsha, take it away.
Well, thanks for that. So yes, the whole show for Sumitomo Chemical is about margins. So if you see revenue is up almost 3.5%, but EBITDA is up 74%, and margin stands at 21% versus 12% last year, which is why net profit is up 52%. One of the reasons. Now, if you see the 840 basis point expansion in margins is supported by lower raw material costs. So raw material cost with respect to revenue, which was 69% last year, is 59% this year. Now, two of the raw materials, chlorophos and profenophos, which are basically the raw materials, and few other raw materials, the prices have gone down, and this has helped in margin expansion. Since last 2-3 quarters, the company was carrying high cost inventory on their balance sheet, which is why we've seen that in last 2 to 3 quarters margins were not that great. But management in last con call had highlighted that with the raw material prices bottoming out, there can be improvement in margin profiles in the subsequent quarters, which we are seeing. Now, management has also laid out capex plans where they're going to do regular capex of 70 to 75 crore per annum and additional capex of 120 crore over 2 years for 5 products. Now, the revenue potential for these 5 products is 200 to 250 crores per annum, with the estimated margins of 20%, which we are currently seeing. So this is all we have, Sumito. So basically, because of the margin improvement, we are seeing the buzz in the stock.
That's an interesting take. Thanks so much for getting us those details. We're joined today by Ashish Maheshwari as well as Swati Hotkar. Ashish and Swati, thanks so much for taking the time as always. Ashish, I'll start with you. It's an interesting set of numbers in a space or a category that has been a little bit underwhelming, that has faced quite a bit of headwinds over the last several quarters. As Varsha was pointing out, some of those high-cost inventories moving out of the system for this company, which is why you're seeing perhaps an increase in the margins. But the question is the worst over? And should you start nibbling into something like a Sumitomo Chemicals or any of the other stocks in the space?
I think let's focus only on Sumitomo Chemicals only, and the kind of result that company has come out is phenomenal. And the reason the stock is at 52-week high also today. The best part is till December quarter, there was so much pessimism about the company because they were, as your analyst was pointing out, that they were carrying high cost inventory, which is they have liquidated fully now. It looks in this particular quarter. And if you see their revenue wise, also 90% of their revenue come from pesticide, herbicide, insecticides, etc. Where high growth is seen as far as their top line is also concerned. So, in my view, the numbers are phenomenal. If you see, if I see even December to March quarter, profit has just become double from 54 crore to 109 crore, and this decent amount of margin expansion into EBITDA, I think this will continue because, like Keshwar rightly said, the raw material prices have come down. But at the same time, as rural India is now expecting this monsoon season will be normal, so a lot of buying will happen in this particular quarter for their end products. So my thumbs up for Sumitomo Chemical for excellent results, and in my view, this stock will further get re-rated.
All right. Good morning to both of you. Let's begin with the queries now. The first one is from Mansi, and the stock they're talking about is Vedanta. They say they've bought the shares at a price of 474, so elevated levels there. And Swati, very short time period, only 10 days. They want to keep, they want to hold the counter. Now, considering they bought it at a 474 and it's currently trading at 460, negative returns in the last week. What's your outlook for the next 10 days?
See, the outlook is a little bit cautious for a very short term period because the stock has just formed the negative divergence in the overbought zone, and we are witnessing some sort of a profit bookings. Around from the last 2 months, we have witnessed that the stock has given a very strong rally from almost 250 to 500 levels. So at the high levels, we cannot deny the profit bookings, which we are witnessing as of now. I believe that 435 will act as a crucial support level provided by its 25. Up to that level, we might see some correction, and again, bounce back rally can be continued. If for a very shorter period of time, I will suggest to keep a stop loss of 235 levels. And upside, we can see the target of at least again 520 to 530. And if you're asking me for a very short period of time, further trading of 5 to 10 trading sessions, then 455 will be the next stop loss to keep on this particular counter.
Okay, so we've got a slightly longer term question, and I'm coming back to you, Swati, on this one, despite the fact that it's a 3-year time horizon, 3 to 5 year, in fact, because these stocks are active in trade. Amara Raja Battery as well as Exide. Vishal from Mumbai has bought these two counters, Amara Raja at levels of 700 and Exide at levels of 225. Now, he has pointed out that these stocks have gained in the recent past. In fact, Amara Raja up as much as 2.5% in trade today or thereabouts. The question that he's asking is, should he hold on to these? Should he enter or should he add more to his position at this point, Swati?
See, Exide is definitely one of the very strong performer counter on the technical front. The monthly chart indicates as of now the stock is trading nearby rates above all-time high levels. And I believe looking towards the technical setup, the momentum rally is likely to be continued in the coming few trading session as well towards at least 550 to 570 levels on the higher sides. If you want to take a long positions, just hold on for a few time being. Probably in the next week, the market will be more volatile because the election results are going to come out. And I believe we might get a deep towards to 470 to 460 levels. At that point of level, one can take a long position, but not at the current market price. About Amaraja battery, yes, this particular counter is also doing very well, Alex. I believe one should hold their long position for immediate target of at least 1340 to 1400 levels on the higher sides because the overall technical setup of this particular counter is really very strong. The volumes and the price momentums are going in hand. I believe if we are looking for a long position, just hold on, wait for any dips towards to at least 1150 to 1100 levels. At that point of time, one can take a long position because the risk reward ratio will be favorable. So just hold on for some point of time, but these two counters are really doing very well. So one can take a long position on any dips and such.
All right, got it. The next question is on Utkarsh Small Finance Bank. This one's from Nitin, who's writing in from Netherlands. And they say they bought the counter at a price of 50 rupees, about 50 rupees. Ashish, from a longer term perspective, would you suggest holding on to it? It's been in a bit of a downturn in the last couple of months, stock-wise.
Still, if we see from the lows of 30 rupees, the stock has touched 768 high, but into quite consolidation phase for a long time. And the stock not giving any good return. So my suggestion will be to exit from this stock, and instead of this, look at more PSU stocks like Bank of Maharashtra or Central Bank of India, which can give you much better returns.
Point. Samir from Kolkata has got the next question. He's asking about Blue Star, which he's bought at levels of 1,443. He's asking if we should add more at this juncture. He's not specified his time frame, but I'm still going to treat this as a fundamental question. Ashish, what's the view on this particular counter, or would you prefer another in the space?
Yeah, this is again a good play as far as this time we are going to witness, or in fact, we are witnessing never seen before or never felt before heat weather across the India. And there's a good time for companies like Voltas, Blue Star, Havels, because even I came to know they're waiting for even 2-3 days if you want to install air conditioner in your home. So companies like Blue Star, PG Electroplast, Volta, so they will continue to do well. So remain invested will be my advice.
No adding more at this juncture?
Yes, you can add also at this point.
Okay.
All right. The next counter is Adani Ports. This one's from A. Chaudhary, and the time period here is 1 to 2 months. Swati, from a short-term perspective, something like an Adani Ports, we're seeing a bit of correction in the stock now. It's down over 1% in trade. But I think on Friday after the announcement, we saw some gains. After that, the fact that it's going to be included in the Sensex, we saw a little bit of gains there, but it's now in red. From a 1 to 2 month perspective, do you have a target?
Yes, the overall setup is definitely positive. Adani overall group is really doing very well in this kind of a market. Profit booking cannot be denied because all those stocks are really trading at their all-time high levels. From last 2 to 3 days, we are witnessing a sudden pressure or say the profit booking at the higher levels. I feel we might get a dips towards to 1350 to 1320 levels on the downside. So the short term, for a very short term period, I will suggest you should book the profits about the long positions, those counters who are trading at their all-time high levels. Any dips towards to 1300, one can take a buy call, but not at the current market price.
All right, Naman from New Delhi has got the next question. HAL is what we're talking about, and what a stock this has been. What a rally it has been for HAL. 3,855 is where Naman bought it, and the stock is currently trading at 5,000. So one would have previously thought elevated levels, Ashish, but what can you say about this counter, HAL? Right? Would you hold on at this point? Would you buy more?
Certainly, I'll hold, and on any decline, I will use this opportunity to add this stock in the portfolio. Again, the rationales are fundamentally, first of all, now the floating stock is less than 5% in HAL, the way FIs and DIs have accumulated this stock in last quarter. So this is what. Second, as soon as election results are announced, they are going to see a lot of new orders which will flow into HAL. And in my view, you can freshly invest here also. And my target for next 6 months will be at least 5,600 here.
All right, got it. Ashish, thanks so much for that. Ashish, Swati, do stay with us, and viewers will be back. We have to slip into a very quick break. We'll take more of your questions on the other side. So do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, and we're taking all of your stock-related questions. The next one that I will take is about GSFC, and that is Gujarat State Fertilizers and Chemicals. It is currently trading at 220 or thereabouts, and this is essentially where our viewer or our viewer Chandrasekharan, who has joined, who has bought the stock. He says that he's a senior citizen. He's holding as much as 3,000 shares. Ashish, it's a stock that has gained, if I look at the 12-month performance, 38 odd percent, but it's had a pretty bad start to 2024, or bad year so far. It's down about 19%. Should you continue to hold this, and what are the prospects for about a year?
No, this was really a disaster quarter for them when net profit went down by almost 90%. So in my view, this is not a good time to remain this stock, and though it's midway from 50-week high low, but instead of this, I'll suggest if you want to remain in the same sector, GNFC can give you much better return than GSFC, where the numbers were also good. So better bet there.
All right. The next question is from Satya, and they're talking about SJS Enterprises. They say they bought the counter, and they have about 50%. So the stock has gained 50% in the last 1 year. Swati, the question here is, should you continue holding on to something like an SJS Enterprise? Is there more upside, or should you switch to JK Paper or Indoco Remedies out of these two counters?
It's definitely, SGS is really doing very well on the technical front. We have seen a very strong rally from after the breakout of 640 towards 745 levels, and still the rally is continuously is on the hold as such. I will suggest to hold on as long as this particular counter trades above 690 levels. That will act as a crucial support level on the technical front. So keep a long positions for a target of at least 780 to 800 levels on the high side by keeping a stop loss of 690.
Okay, I'm going to try and get a view on this, and we've got a viewer, Aman, who is writing in from Indore and asking about Accuracy Shipping. It's not a large counter at all. In fact, it's just got a market capitalization of 134 crore rupees. It is currently just on the border or the cusp of being called a penny stock. It is in fact trading at 8.9 rupees per share. The question is for Ashish. Ashish, do you have coverage on this? He points out that you spoke about it a while back. So if you still have a view on this, would you say that holding is something that he should consider? He's bought at levels of 20.
Already stock has come down from 18 to 8 now, and this is on account of two last bad quarters which company has reported. So my suggestion will be to exit from this stock because until unless company come back into the profit, and looking at this sector, I don't think so. And soon they are going to be in black again. So my suggestion will be to exit from this stock.
Okay, so then alternatively, and this I would think is a bit of a risky bet. Alternatively, would you suggest another counter that he can enter into to mitigate his losses somewhat?
Yeah, I suggest that you go with any PSU bank, which can give you much better return. So again, Central Bank of India or Bank of Maharashtra are my favorite picks there.
Okay.
All right. The next question is from Vinod, who's writing in from Chennai. They're talking about the counter RR Cable. They bought the counter at a price of 1,035 rupees. It's currently trading at near 1,826 rupees. So I think the question here is that should you continue holding on to this counter for another year, or should you book profits at this juncture?
Yes, the overall view on this particular counter is really positive as long as he doesn't need the capital. Definitely he can hold the long positions. Downside, if the immediate support level comes to at around 1720, which is the previous swings high. So as long as it holds that level, I believe the upside rally can be extended towards up to at least 2,000 to 2,200 levels on the higher side. So hold the long positions by maintaining a profit stop loss of 1720 on the downside.
Okay. All right. The next one is coming from Sushila. She's writing in from Bellary in Karnataka and asking about Avantel. This is for you, Swati. Avantel, she's bought at levels of 115 and she's got 555 shares. If we can pull up the charts to see where it's currently trading, what does it look like on the chart? She's not really gaining too much. She's bought it very close to the market price. So what's the suggestion that you have?
See, this particular counter on the technical front, as of now, it is in the consolidation phase. It's trading within the range of 100 to 130 levels, not giving any major reversal sign on the technical front. But definitely, as of now, it's currently trading at the buying price itself. I will suggest to hold on, but please maintain the strict stop loss of 110 levels on the downside. If any bounce back rally comes up to 130 level, one should book their profits or exit their long positions. I don't feel it should be carried for long positions into their portfolio.
All right. The next counter we're talking about is Newland Laboratories. This one's from Monica Sharma. They say they bought the counter at a price of 5,394 rupees, currently trading over 6,200 rupees. From a okay, they've not mentioned if there's a long term or okay, this is a long term question. Ashish, I'm going to come to you on this counter. What's the long term view?
Again, there's a counter from 2,500. Stock went up to 8,000 rupees and now slightly getting consolidated. So as far as company fundamentals are concerned, there's no concern. Only thing is the growth is not there. If we see December to March quarter, there was a slight decline in their top line and profit also. There's the reason the stock is correcting. But if you're already holding, then for long term, you can remain invested. Otherwise, it's a good company. Only 1 or 2 quarters, some aberration is there in the numbers. I think in long run, this will continue to do well.
Okay. Long-term view on Bosch. We've got a question coming from Nandakumar. He's bought in 2016. He's seeing gains of about 40%, and he's wondering whether to continue to hold or should he sell? Should he book out at this point? Ashish, this is a counter that is down about 1.8%, but all auto anchors have performed appreciably well, particularly over the last week or so. Should you use this time to book some profits?
No, I think you can remain invested in Bosch, again a blue chip counter. And if you see year over year from 1,400 crore, they did 2,500 crore profit in FY24. And I think this run rate will continue because their auto ancillary business, where they make various parts, is doing very well. So my suggestion will be, in fact, to remain invested. And for new investors, this will be a very good buy if the stock further correct to even 30,000 rupees. Maybe next 6 months, this will be a sure short candidate for 35,000 plus mark.
One last very quick view on Life Insurance Corporation of India. It's in focus today. 1,036 is the buy price of our viewer Hari. What's the view, Swati?
View is definitely positive. One should definitely hold on for this particular counter for a long-term perspective. I believe that the upside rally can be continued towards to 1,200 levels because the monthly chart is forming the flag pattern and it's on the verge of forming the body of that particular flag. So slowly and steadily, we will find the breakout in this particular stock. The breakout comes to at around 1,060. Once it manages to give a breakout of that level on the closing basis, definitely we can see a very good kind of a rally towards to 1,200 levels. So one should definitely hold on as long as the stock sustains above 970 levels. So it's a hold from my end.
All right. Now, unfortunately, we're completely out of time here. Thank you so much, Swati and Ashish, for joining in on the program and for answering so many questions for us. And viewers, thanks for tuning in. If you were not able to take your question today, we'll definitely take that tomorrow. But don't go anywhere. We have lots more lined up for you on NDTV Profit.